Good morning. This is the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Thursday, July 22nd. On the impact map, a mixture of wet and dry lightning continuing across the central and eastern portion of the Great Basin. Smoky and locally breezy conditions, wind gusts 20 to 30, where you see the orange Sierra Front and central Idaho, and it'll be an issue in central Idaho and southern Idaho the next couple of days, along with the smoke and just lingering fairly wet thunderstorms further to the south. Our smoke forecast near surface on the left this morning, and the smoke plumes as they look later this afternoon. And we look at that at the 6,000 foot level, both in the morning hours on the left and on the right side, with the daytime heating and the advanced burning later in the day. On the right, the lightning over the past 24 hours, and most of this in the south. Again, wet lightning for many days with wetting rains. It's this lightning up here in Idaho. It's a mix of wet and dry that we'll have to keep an eye on as drier air starts pushing into the area. And that's where we have new starts, new fire starts in the red, existing fires, recent fires in the yellow. Precipitation past 7 days, you can see the effects of the monsoon through the southern portion of the Great Basin, and even some amounts near half an inch. We see the green in some of the higher terrain of Idaho, and that's limited or brought down some of the extreme fire behavior that we saw in previous days, but we do have drier air pushing in. You can see the percentages of normal. ERC point map, you can see in the green where the persistent monsoon rains have done quite a number in the southern part, basically south of I-70, Highway 50, but much drier further north. And with a little bit of wetness up here in the Salmon Chalice, where they did have some localized wetting rains. Live fuel moistures, you can see here across central Nevada, they've actually come up a little bit above normal here in the sagebrush, but you can see further northwards in Nevada towards Wells, they are well down towards near record levels and at numbers that correlate with extreme fire behavior. Satellite imagery shows the monsoonal moisture still rotating through that high pressure area and pushing northward, especially across the eastern Great Basin. So on the left, there's that moisture coming through. Drier air starting to punch through in the west. We see that orange. You can see our PSAs on the right-hand side where we've moistened up, and that's where the humidity is highest in the 20s and 30s, but you can see that single-digit humidity working its way back into the western portion of the Great Basin. And winds, the orange here, 20 to 30, both in central Idaho and off the Sierra Front. Have to keep an eye on that. This is our expected area of thunderstorms. Again, mostly wet here in Utah, a mix of wet and dry, but even there, more wet, I would say, on the lighter side, though, in Idaho. On Friday, more monsoonal moisture rotating across from the south, not much change. Humidity is not much change either, wet in the south and east. You can see the moisture, the dryness in the western portion of the Great Basin, 10% humidity in western Idaho. Winds have died down off the Sierra Front, 10 to 20 mile an hour winds, and this is in the vicinity of some of our existing fires here in southern Utah. You can see the deep monsoonal moisture pushing just to our south, and spotty isolated thunderstorms. We see little signals through there. On Saturday, there's that monsoonal moisture kind of swinging to our south, just skirting the area, 7-day precip on the right, and the relative humidity, again, 20 to 30% in the south, but single digits to low teens in the north. So those fuels will dry out. That's where a lot of our fire activity is. You can see some of the gustier winds there in southern Utah. Once again, not quite critical, but critical enough if you have large fire on the ground. 3-day precipitation totals. And the 7-day continues as we go through Sunday. There's a monsoonal moisture missing most of us, kind of curving into California at the present time. Then that moisture does make a right turn, and probably wetter storms across southern Nevada and Utah. We'll have to watch as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday with that lingering moisture. Right now, no high risk yet, but depending on how much we dry out, we could see some high risk in our northern areas by the end of the period. 7-day precip totals, again, very heavy in the south, more isolated the further north you go. The 8 to 14-day outlook, a wetter than normal signal continues. The monsoonal influence continues along with above normal temperatures. This concludes our briefing. Have a great day.